Now I know what it feels like to be completely starstruck.
The only stars that matter are the ones you look at when you dream.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times big actors ate up small roles.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
For this list, we'll be looking at the greatest times that movie stars made the most of their cameos and supporting parts. Did we forget a small but memorable performance? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, John Candy as Gus Polinski, Home Alone. Instantly lovable in any performance, John Candy is a welcome addition to Home Alone. He plays the amiable musician Gus Polinski in only a couple of scenes from the film. He offers Catherine O'Hara a much-needed ride, but not before mentioning his polka career.
Polka, polka, polka. No? Twin Lakes polka, Damavuji polka, aka Kiss Me polka, polka twist.
Well, these are songs.
Candy employs a lot of improvisation for his cameo that's both goofy and heartwarming. He's able to save the day and provide some wisdom near the end of the movie, showcasing his versatility and likability as a performer.
You know, you're beating yourself up there. You know, come on, this happens. This thing happens. You know, you want to talk about bad parents? Look at us. I mean, we're on the road 48, 49 weeks out of the year. We hardly see our families.
He's so perfect for the role that we almost wish he had more screen time overall. Number 19, Keanu Reeves as himself. Always Be My Maybe.
That's $6,400. Less than a residual paycheck for my hit movie Speed. But a little out of your ballpark. But it's okay.
Keanu Reeves mostly spends his days fighting bad guys, but his occasional appearances in romantic comedies are a welcome change-up to his more standard action fare. His cameo in Always Be My Maybe functions as both a massive surprise and a delightful send-up of vapid celebrities. Reeves stuns his dinner guests with his presence and even offers up some choice quotes.
Laboring in obscurity. Starving and struggling. The man who embraces his mediocre nothingness shines greater than any.
The actor is more than willing to make fun of himself, which takes this scene to a whole other level of hilarious. We definitely think that John Wick should star in a lot more comedies because of his stellar work in this one. Number 18, Dennis Hopper as Clifford Worley and Christopher Walken as Vincenzo Cocotti, True Romance. Quentin Tarantino's screenwriting abilities have never been better than in this tense scene from True Romance. This sequence works especially well because of Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken's star power, bringing together a gravitas that rarely happens on film.
I'm Sicilian. My father was the world heavyweight champion of Sicilian liars. From growing up with him, I learned the pantomime.
Walken's mobster intimidates and beats his co-star in a sinister interrogation. Once Hopper gets a chance to fire back, he offers up a verbal beatdown with a few notable twists and turns. It's not politically correct in the slightest, but it does speak to the dark sense of humour that both characters share.
Now this... I'm quoting history. It's written. It's a fact, it's written.
I love this guy.
Tarantino's dialogue truly sings in the mouth of two industry professionals that read the lines as if they were Shakespeare's. Number 17, Matt Damon as actor Loki, Thor Ragnarok. Among the more surprising cameos in all of the MCU, Matt Damon makes an appearance in Thor Ragnarok. He doesn't even play an actual superhero in his brief time on screen.
I'm sorry about that thing with the Tesseract. I just couldn't help myself. I know. I'm a trickster.
Yes, so mischievous.
Yeah. Sorry about that time. I turned you into a frog.
Damon actually plays an actor in a comical play within the movie, entertaining a disguised Loki with his stirring rendition of the trickster's death scene. The performer really sells the moment with some comedic overacting.
We will build a big statue for you.
With my helmet on, with the big bendy horns.
I will tell Father what you did here today.
I didn't do it for him. I didn't do it for him.
His timing is impeccable in one of the funniest Marvel films, providing a brief sequence of meta humor for fans to enjoy. As great as Tom Hiddleston is in the original role, this Oscar winner brings his own energy to this parody. Number 16, Jack Nicholson as Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson can switch on his one-of-a-kind charm for any movie. For his part in A Few Good Men, Nicholson commands a courtroom with a performance to rival any of his finest leading roles.
I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it.
He plays the controversial Colonel Jessup in an intimidating appearance in the witness box. His character doesn't let Tom Cruise's lawyer push him around, finally admitting to a serious offense after a tense verbal exchange. The actor also utters a piece of dialogue that quickly entered the cinematic lexicon.
You can't handle the truth!
Earning a well-deserved Oscar nomination, the performer comfortably steals the film away from his co-stars.
I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to!
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
Number 15, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, X-Men First Class. Since the first X-Men movie in 2000, Hugh Jackman has owned the role of Wolverine across a series of sequels and standalone films.
I come with you. I'm coming for blood. No law. No code of conduct. You point me in the right direction, you get the hell out of my way.
His appearance in this adventure is even more special for its quick and extremely funny payoff. The prequel finds Professor X and Magneto searching for a team of fellow mutants, prompting them to pay a visit to the adamantium hero. He doesn't even let them finish their thought before showing off his unique form of hospitality.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Charles Xavier.
Go f yourself.
Jackman sells the moment with his blunt delivery, in a scene that reminds us all of Logan's lovably gruff exterior. Number 14, Drew Barrymore as Casey Becker, Scream. Drew Barrymore doesn't make it past the first scene in Scream, but she has one of the most important roles in the entire film. She answers the infamous phone call that kick-starts the plot and arguably sets the tone for the entire series.
Is this some kind of joke?
More of a game, really. Can you handle that?
Barrymore puts on her most frightened face and plays along with Ghostface's schemes, slowly realizing that she's been trapped by the killer. The actress probably influenced the next decade of Scream Queens with her terrified reactions.
Who's there? Who's there? I'm calling the police.
Not only was it a surprise to find the performer in this kind of horror movie, it also threw audiences for a loop that she'd only be in the opening moments. Number 13, Matthew McConaughey as Mark Hanna, the Wolf of Wall Street. Always entertaining, Matthew McConaughey makes the most of any film role, regardless of its size. The actor dishes out some questionable advice to the anti-hero during this lunch meeting in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Name of the game, move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
McConaughey teaches wannabe broker Jordan Belfort the ropes of the finance industry with some colourful vocabulary and a few interesting vocal inflections.
It's all a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is?
No, Fugazi. It's fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist.
The engrossing performer emits pure charisma at all times, never letting up throughout this chaotic scene of drinking and substance use. He brings it all together with a chest bump ending that audiences will never forget and likely mimic in their own life.
Come on.
Number 12, Viola Davis as Mrs. Miller, Doubt.
I'm talking about the boy's nature now. Not anything he's done. You can't hold a child responsible for what God gave him to be.
You only need one scene to make an impact in a film. Viola Davis provides ample evidence for this position, making the most of her role in Doubt. She plays the mother of someone who may or may not have been abused by a priest, holding her own opposite Meryl Streep in a thought-provoking sequence. Davis boils down her character into several nuanced glances and lines, thoroughly building out her part with limited time. She raises her voice at a dramatic turning point that pulls her entire situation into perspective.
So you accept what you gotta accept and you work with it.
This man is in my school.
Well, he's gotta be somewhere. Maybe he's doing some good too.
After the boy.
Well, maybe some of them boys want to get caught.
Always authentic and engaging, the performer draws in the audience and creates an award-nominated effort. Number 11, Billy Crystal as Miracle Max, the Princess Bride. After a few torturous moments for the hero of The Princess Bride, Wesley's friends bring him to Miracle Max. The magical helper is played by Billy Crystal in a highlight from the film.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for a nice MLT, a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. They're so perky. I love that.
Crystal's comedic sensibilities never fail to bring a smile to audiences, with the inclusion of hair and makeup to transform him into a believable fantasy character. He's both good at his job and still able to crack more than a couple of one-liners for good measure. The comedian also has fantastic chemistry with co-star Carol Kane, while still managing to offer up some hilarious jokes in this Rob Reiner classic.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye!
Number 10, Will Ferrell as Chaz Reinhold, Wedding Crashers. As the wedding-crashing guru, Chaz helps out Owen Wilson's John in his quest for a new wingman.
Chaz?
Will Ferrell hangs around for a short amount of time, but he arguably has the best scene in the entire movie. His gregarious character lights up the screen with an energy that isn't soon forgotten. Chaz frequently asks his mum to cook for him and his guests, putting one hilarious saying after another into the comedic pantheon of quotes.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
Needless to say, we'll never think about Meatloaf the same way. The final shot of him at a funeral makes for a brilliant sight gag and certifies Ferrell as one of the most hilarious scene stealers ever. Number 9, Gene Hackman as Harold the Blind Man, Young Frankenstein. This comic masterpiece from director Mel Brooks contains multiple references to Universal Pictures' Frankenstein film series of the 1930s. One specific homage follows the eponymous monster stumbling upon the house of a blind man named Harold.
My name is Harold, and I live here all alone. What is your name?
Award-winning actor Gene Hackman plays the kindly character who welcomes the giant into his house and offers him some food. Known mostly for his dramatic roles, Hackman proves to be a comedic natural with an instinct for physical gags and witty dialogue.
How long I've waited for the pleasure of another human being. Sometimes in our preoccupation with worldly matters,
He and scene partner Peter Boyle riff off each other like they've been a vaudeville team for years.
don't inhale until the tip glows.
Although this was one of his few funny roles, the actor's ease with the material certainly elevates the scene.
I was gonna make espresso.
Number 8, Bill Murray as himself, Zombieland. An unexpected hit of its time, this modern-day classic remains one of the funniest zombie films ever made, and that's even before we encounter Bill Murray's outrageous cameo.
Bill Murray, you're a zombie?
Oh, I'm on fire!
While taking refuge in Murray's mansion, the characters come to realise that he's very much alive and well. The fictionalised portrayal, complete with the Eddie Van Halen wig and ridiculous makeup, is guaranteed to send anyone into a fit of laughter. The sequence culminates in Murray's tragic death, making way for one of the comedian's best lines in recent memory.
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
His brief appearance satirises both his personality and celebrity status, which allows this role to somehow seem perfectly natural. Number 7, Sophie Turner as Erica, Do Revenge. This high school drama brings a fresh take on the beloved genre and introduces quite a few big surprises along the way. The main plot concerns the unlikely partnership between Drea and Eleanor, who first come together after the latter overhears a diabolical plot by Erica.
How did you even get the video?
I'm not revealing my sources.
It just feels kind of messed up. Like it's embarrassing enough that she's our age and works here.
Played by Sophie Turner, the character immediately comes off as the stuck-up villain every teen movie needs.
It was Erica. The one who showed everyone that video of you.
After Drea learns about Erica's deceit, she exacts her revenge on her in the most delectable way possible. This leads to Erica being sent off, kicking and screaming.
Are you on drugs right now?
I don't do cocaine! I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like!
While many may have expected Turner to be more like Sansa Stark, this cameo reveals just how versatile an actor she is.
I love your earballs. I love them.
Number 6. Alec Baldwin as Blake, Glengarry Glen Ross. In the film adaptation of his Pulitzer Prize-winning play, Glengarry Glen Ross, David Mamet includes an additional character to introduce the main cast's motivations. Alec Baldwin's Blake rallies the salesmen with bold statements and threats to their jobs.
Let's talk about something important. Are they all here?
All but one.
Well, I'm going anyway. Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
His performance is filled with so many iconic lines that it's arguably the most famous scene of the entire movie.
Always be closing.
Baldwin doesn't suffer any fools in his speech, openly antagonizing his co-stars to no end. He even presents them with a few choice prizes for their ability to sell real estate.
As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives.
The actor disappears afterwards, but his initial monologue haunts the rest of the narrative in more ways than one.
Are you gonna take it? Are you man enough to take it?
Number 5. Margot Robbie as herself, The Big Short. The Big Short director and co-writer Adam McKay needed an inventive way to explain the financial crisis to a general audience. Instead of a traditional exposition, the filmmaker resorted to a few unexpected cameos from stars like Margot Robbie.
Here's Margot Robbie in a bubble bath.
Appearing in a bubble bath, the actress explains difficult concepts with her lively personality and natural sense of humor. Who would have thought of a better way to discuss things like subprime mortgages?
So the banks started filling these bonds with riskier and riskier mortgages. Thank you, Andrew.
This satirical look at the housing collapse of the late 2000s jumps through several loops in a bid to explain modern history to its viewers.
So whenever you hear subprime, think.
And with the help of Robbie's pointed and tongue-in-cheek commentary, it delivers.
Got it? Okay.
Number 4. Bradley Cooper as John Peters, Licorice Pizza. Paul Thomas Anderson's 70s mosaic, Licorice Pizza, contains a series of vignettes that highlight the characters instead of a central plot. One such story revolves around the leads showing up at the house of movie producer John Peters to install a waterbed.
So we're going to the movies right now and I'm on my way to pick her up, so I'm going to leave you here.
Bradley Cooper plays the real-life man like a genuine maniac, bulldozing through everything and everyone in his path. Whether he's worried about his home or the pronunciation of his girlfriend's name,
We speak the same language, so we're both from the streets.
Yeah.
I didn't see it before. It's wow.
Peters always seems like he's one tick away from a violent outburst.
No gas though in the goddamn car, Steve-O!
With just a few minutes of screen time, Cooper blazes through the ensemble film, delivering a performance that is sure to stick with you. Number 3. Philip Seymour Hoffman as young craps player, Hard 8. Released in 1996, Hard 8 was the debut feature for acclaimed filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson. More importantly, it started one of the best actor-director partnerships in modern cinematic history. Philip Seymour Hoffman appears in the film as a fast-talking craps player that antagonizes the lead character played by Philip Baker Hall.
Coming out again, bet 11 after 7.
on, old timer.
Hoffman takes a small part and elevates it to award-worthy status with his one-of-a-kind style.
Jesus Christ. The way you look, I think you know what I'm saying, old timer.
As Hall's character Sidney silently takes the verbal abuse, his co-star seems to up the notch every time, with one perfectly executed moment after another. Hoffman never shows up again in the film, but his tour de force one-scene cameo is, frankly, more than enough.
2,000, 2,000, 100, 2,000, 2,000, 100, 2,000, 44!
Number 2, Christopher Walken as Captain Coons, Pulp Fiction. For his Oscar-winning sophomore feature, Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino brilliantly casts a variety of Hollywood veterans in key roles. In this particular scene, Christopher Walken plays Captain Coons, a veteran tasked with passing down a gold watch to a younger version of Bruce Willis's character, Butch.
Whoa, little man. Boy, I sure heard a bunch about you. See, I was a good friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell together.
Walken delves into a lengthy monologue outlining the colourful history behind the highly coveted watch.
This was your great-grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in that war. And
his sincerity guides the viewers into the detailed story, and before long, it becomes clear that this isn't a wholesome fairy tale. The actor plays both the dramatic and comedic portions of the speech with perfect timing. Even in such a tiny role, Walken's magnetic performance is easily one of the standouts of the entire film.
I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Tom Cruise as Les Grossman, Tropic Thunder. It's hard to imagine Tom Cruise going this crazy in any film, let alone in a comedy like Tropic Thunder. He plays the part of Les Grossman, a crass and hot-tempered studio executive who clearly thinks of his actors as disposable.
Shit the money bet.
Wasting zero time on screen, Cruise shouts and swears his way through some of the most hilarious tirades in movie history. But that's only half of the performance.
I will massacre you! I will f you up!
The actor also undergoes a shocking physical transformation, suiting up in heavy prosthetics to pull off the look. If all of his antics in the film aren't enough, he reappears for a dance scene in the finale that leaves a long-lasting impression.
Here's another one, and another one. Why you all in my ear, talking a whole bunch of shit that I ain't trying to hear?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.